In this lesson, we are going to measure the temperature over Wi-Fi, either on the tablet or on a desktop or your mobile phone. First, we are going to program ESP8266, this chip, so we can have LED blink. Our second project is to read temperature from DHT11 and display it on serial monitor with ESP8266. And our third project is to read the temperature over Wi-Fi on our mobile device or computer screen. Welcome to Arduino course by Robojax. This course is based on SunFounder 3-in-1 Arduino kit sold on Amazon. Everything that you learn in this course is included in this kit. The course comes with tons of components and projects, all with instruction and video for smart car and other projects that you can use for school or home automation. You can purchase it from sunfounder.com. The kit also comes with full documentation, code download, learning projects with full explanation, wiring diagram, and the code that you can download. The link to purchase the kit and documentation is below the video in the description. In this video, we are going to learn how to use ESP8266 module. This is actually called ESP01S, so we can read temperature with DHT11. But first, we will talk about web server, we will talk about preparing Arduino with ESP8266, and then we will have three projects. First, we will have simple blink project with this ESP8266, so we know that we can program it because it needs a little effort. And second step, we will read the temperature and display it on the serial monitor with DHT11. And the third one would be to read the temperature and display it on our mobile device or a computer over Wi-Fi. Now let's see how are the steps that we can use ESP8266 or ESP02 with DHT to measure the temperature. We can have ESP8266 module that looks something like this, or that looks something like this. We have DHT11 temperature sensor or DHT22. And let's see, so these are the steps. First, we prepare Arduino for ESP8266 so it can recognize the board and program it properly. Then we do the wiring for ESP01, or the same way could be ESP8266. Then we will connect to Wi-Fi and test the web server. And then we will measure the temperature using DHT just on the serial monitor. After that, we are going to measure the temperature over Wi-Fi. First, let's see what is a web server. You have your computer and there is a web server somewhere. When you want to connect, your computer can type. So you type, for example, this IP address and you get connected to the web server and communicate. Or you can do the same way with your mobile phone, for example, or a tablet, and you type the IP address and you communicate, and whatever information the web server provides, you will read it on the screen. If there is internet in between and the web server is somewhere far away, for example, if you type robojax.com, you get connected to the internet and from internet to the web server. So this way you can read the information and connect it. The same way you can do with your mobile phone, connect to the internet and then connect to a web server that is somewhere on the web. Now, for the web server to connect, you need a router, and your device can connect to Wi-Fi router and then connect to the web server. Or you can have 8266 chip on the module that you can communicate over Wi-Fi and read it. So this information is sent to the router, and from router it comes to the screen of your desktop, and then you will have DHT. DHT temperature is read by the ESP module, and ESP passes the information to router, and from router it comes to your desktop computer. You can have DHT22, and also you can replace it with your mobile phone, so you can read the temperature on the screen of your mobile device. Now to upload our code to this microcontroller ESP8266, we need to have a USB facility so we can connect it to our computer, and we are going to use this chip here, which is USB, from this SunFounder Uno board, and we are connecting it to USB, and then we are using these two pins, RX and TX, and we send the information to this board. We are not going to use the actual Arduino, we are just using this USB and the connectivity so our program can pass from here to this module. Okay, now let's do the wiring. I've just inserted this piece. This is the adapter. This is the actual Wi-Fi module. I'm not going to insert it because it will be very easy. Let's start the wiring from IO1 to ground. IO1 to ground. Then the other wire from 3.3 volts to enable. I'm going to use this red wire, 3.3 volts to EN or enable pin. And then let's connect ground to this blue ground line. Ground to this blue, which is our ground. And then I'm going to use this 5 volts connected to this 5 volts. Okay, from 5 volts I'm connecting it to 5 volts. So this is now our 5 volts, and blue is our ground on this side. Now we have only RX and TX left. I'm getting an orange wire from RX and connecting it here to RX of Arduino. Then here from TX, I'm going to connect a blue wire to TX. From TX, blue wire to TX. Now I'm going to connect from this reset to ground, even though I could connect it to this ground, but I don't want students to get confused. Let's connect it to the ground. Here from reset, connect it to the ground, and then from this ground to the ground, a black wire, ground to ground. The last pin, 5 volts, I could connect it in here. They connected there, but I'm going to connect it in this line. So 5 volts. From the 5 volts, this is connected to this area. Now the last pin is this reset. From reset we need a wire that is hanging. Reset pin has nothing, you see, that's empty, so that is our reset wire hanging. Wiring is completed. Now to get started with ESP8266, we need this URL. I will provide you. I'm just copying this by right click and copy. Then go to your Arduino, click on File, Preferences, and then you see this icon. Click here so you can see it, and press enter so the line goes to the next line, and then right click, paste, and then press Ctrl V. So that URL is pasted here, and click OK and click OK. We have pointed Arduino to search for that particular board. Now we are going to add our board. Click Tool, Boards, Board Manager. Wait for this, and here type ESP8266 and wait, and here you will see this you see this is the board. We click install and we will install it. The installation is completed and close it. Now we are going to select our board by clicking on Tools, Board, and then under ESP8266 board, select the first one which says generic ESP8266 module. The first thing, go to this address that is on the screen and press enter. After that, and save it in your computer somewhere. After that, go to the folder that you downloaded. In that case, this is a folder. If you have Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 11, just double click, it will be opened. Then right click, copy. We are just extracting it. And then go back in the same folder, right click, and paste it. Now double click. You should see these three files. One is bin. You might not see the bin, you might not see that exe.bat, but pay attention to the name. One has bat, the other has ESP tool, and the last one says install. So keep that in mind because we are coming back to this. Our first project is Blink, making sure that we can do the Blink program with this ESP01. And so first get a yellow wire. So I'm connecting this yellow wire from IO2, from this pin that is empty, connecting it to a point. And then I'm going to connect this longer pin this side on the line that yellow has been inserted. Then I'm going to get this 330 ohm resistor connected from this point, from the left pin of the LED, and then connected to this blue line, which is ground. Then we will load the program so the LED will blink. Now let's first make sure that our board is selected. Click on Tools, Board, and ESP8266 board, and then make sure that the generic is selected, generic ESP8266 module, the first one. If not, just click, it will be selected. Then we go on File, Examples, scroll down until you see ESP8266 without any other word or thing, and then click Blink, and this is our code. We don't do anything with this program. Everything is ready. We just click File, Save As, and then save it where you're working with. I'm saving it as Blink, B-L-I-N-K, and click Save, and save. It will be saved. And here I've opened the folder where this file is. So this is the program, and this is the folder that I can see the file in here. Let's create a binary file by clicking on Sketch, Compile Binary, Export Compiled Binary. Pay attention to this bar graph. When this is completed, you will see a file is generated in here. So our file is generated, and this is ready to be used. Now we will right click on this. For sake of everyone, I'm selecting more options, but in your computer you don't need to do that if you have Windows something other than 11. So I'm selecting copy, and then go inside ESP8266 firmware, open it, right click and then go more option and paste. Move it, this will start running and the program will blink. Now we have to open this installed file. You might not see this bat. Right click, more option, and then I'm clicking edit. So now this line that has at or em, that's a remark, and this is remark. So these two lines are not doing anything. This line says that erase flash of the device using default of ESP8266 chip using this tool. And then the next line, it says flash it with this file. So this is the one that we have to rename. Now I've brought it on this screen so you can see it. Now let's get the full path of this file. Just click at the end of it, it will be highlighted, and then right click, copy. And then we come here for this line that says ESP tool, type a backslash, then go one character. So we want to put double quotation at the beginning and end and this backslash. So here I'm gonna put a double quote and then right click, paste. It came up to here, and then we have forward slash at the end, put double quote. So we have this double quote in here and double quotation in here, and our path was up to here and then the rest. So we have this full thing. Now we need the same thing for this line. This will not work, so let's highlight it fully, copy, and then highlight this, right click and paste. Now this is done, and then we need to replace this name. Right click, more options, and then rename. It will select it for you. Let's rename it as blink. Okay, so blink.bin, it already has it, and here let's just type blink. Now we need to right click on install and say select copy, and then right click and then more option and click paste. When you click paste, you see it says install dash copy. Right click and then rename it. Let's select rename and name it blink, B-L-I-N-K. And I brought it on this side so we can see it better for programming purpose. Right click and then select edit. Now I forgot to mention that, so this binary need to have a reference from this W up to this forward slash. We don't need that exe, so right click, copy, and then bring it here, right click and paste. Now you can see it has forward slash before the blink. Now this is ready. Click file, save, and close it. Now right click on this blink batch file, Windows batch file, right click, run as administrator, accept this warning, and then let's see, it is connecting. And okay, so when you see this percentage, it means it's working. But sometimes you get error. Now 66%, 75%, 82%, 100%, and it says press any key to continue. I'm pressing any key. Now the program is supposed to blink, but because we put it in writing mode or burn mode. This is not working. Let's remove it. Still not working. We have to reset it. Connect this reset to ground like that, and then remove it. Once you remove it, this will start running and the program will blink. So congratulations, you have successfully programmed this ESP8266 to make an LED blink. Here is the wiring for DHT. As I've explained it in a lesson that I've introduced DHT, I've connected a resistor between the left pin and second pin. This can be between 1 kilo ohm to 10 kilo ohm resistor. It's not that critical. From the left pin, you bring one wire to this point where we will connect it to 5 volts. And the second pin will be connected to pin 2. The third pin is not connected. The fourth pin is connected to ground. And from the second pin also you can connect a resistor which is from 1 kilo ohm to 10 kilo ohm to positive, but for beautification I put one wire here and then connect it to this point. And here is the actual wiring. From the right is connected to ground. Second one is empty. The third one wire from here. Let me bend it so you can see it. So blue is connected to pin 2. From the first pin, it's connected to this point where this is connected to 5 volts of Arduino. And from the second pin, this wire is coming to this point where with a resistor it has been connected to 5 volts. And this left is connected to 5 volts. Let me disconnect the power. Left is connected to 5 volts, and then the right pin will be connected to ground. This is black. I'm connecting it to ground. And here we remove this wire, second wire which is brown here, connected to the resistor. This will be connected to pin 2, IO2 here, which was empty so far. And this is the wiring. Now let's install the Arduino library. We click on Tools, Manage Libraries, and here we type DHT11 and then press enter. We see multiple libraries here, and the one that says Adafruit, click and select and install it. Wait for the installation to complete. When it's installed, you will see installed green here, then close it. Now let's open our second program, DHT. Go to File, Examples, scroll down, until you see DHT sensor library, and then second option, DHT tester. Click and open it. Now let's first save it. Click on File, Save As, and save it where you have saved the blink and the firmware are stored. And let's name it DHT01, because we will have another project, DHT02. Click Save. And now this code doesn't need explanation because we already have done it. So the first line, this line is defining pin 2. That's exactly what we want. And this line where it says DHT type, DHT11, you see this has comment. Remove the comment. And the next line, which has DHT22, add comment, which means 2//. And then click Save. Now we can create the binary file. Make sure that the board is selected, ESP8266. That's good. Now we are going to export the binary. I'm opening the DHT01. Double click and you will see the file. When I generate the binary, you will see the file. Click Sketch, Export Compiled Binary. You will see this line, this bar graph completed, and you will see a file will be generated. So we're waiting until it says done compiling. It says done compiling and the file have been generated. Now let's copy this binary file. Right click and select copy. I click on this means copy. Otherwise you go and select copy. So I'm going back to tools and inside the firmware, right click, and then I'm clicking on paste. This is exactly the same as options and paste. So I'm clicking on Ctrl V or paste. So the file arrived here. Let's rename it. Right click and then rename DHT01. If you don't see this binary, don't worry, it's a setting of your computer, but just DHT01.bin. If you don't see dot, don't worry, just make it DHT01. And then now let's duplicate this blank, right click and then copy the blank.batch, the batch file, and then right click, paste it, and then rename it, right click and then rename. Let's call it DHT01 because we want to have it with the same name. Now this file is referring to the blank. We have to change it. Right click, more option and edit. If I change it, you will see it says blank.bin. Now let's change it DHT01. Click file and save and close. Now this is the old program that is blinking. I'm going to connect back the wire between the IO1 and the ground. So now this is ready for writing and we don't need this blink. I'm going to remove it. Right click on DHT1 and then run as administrator. Accept the warning and then wait. So we got error. First try, it tries again. It says could not connect. So press any key. We got error. Don't worry. The first thing, let's disconnect the wire, the ground, until it's off and connect it back. Give it like 10 seconds. Until I do the thing, it will be 10 seconds. Right click, run as administrator. Yes. And now this time we will see scanning. And when you see this with a %, it means it's working. The program is being written. Press any key and it's done. Now I'm connecting the power. This is my sensor. I'm opening the serial monitor. You will see that this is running like crazy. Let's increase the size. You see that at the bottom it says 115,200. Now I'm going to connect this to the ground. You see this is stopped and remove it. Bit rate 9,600. And as you can see, the temperature is showing. Humidity and temperature. (24°C). So the wiring and the code worked. Now we can go to the Wi-Fi option. Now if I disconnect this wire, you will see that it says cannot read from sensor, failed to read. And if I connect it again, it displays the temperature and it shows it's working. I'll provide you with the code. Click File and then Save As. You name it, we'll prefer DHT02 and then save it. So this is now done. Now if you look at in our folder, I've put it in the same place, blank DHT01, DHT02, and if I double click the file, this file is in here. Now let me explain the code. We have defined here a variable, how often the screen is refreshing or displaying the temperature or humidity. So 3 seconds, maybe increase it 5, 10, 15, whatever you want. And this is the pen that is defined and used with this device. This line is defining that using DHT11, and if you want to use DHT22, just uncomment this and comment the other one, because we are using DHT11, so we are uncommenting that and then commenting this. So this line is active, these are just ignored. And then we have here two variables called T value and H value. That's the temperature. I'm going to show you later if you want Fahrenheit or Celsius. And this is the humidity. This is a sample name. We're using Robojax DHT. This will work with Android devices, so you can just type this and see it. These are part of the code that were already included with with a board selection. If you go on File, Example, and scroll down under ESP8266 web server and then Hello server, if I open it, that is the code. I've taken it and I have heavily modified it. So these are all for Wi-Fi. We are not worried. We have defined our Wi-Fi SSID and the password. If your Wi-Fi is book and if you type small b, you will get error, it will not work. So it's case sensitive. Make sure it is, you enter the correct value. And here send temperature is a function that is sending the temperature. That is the screen that you see. So that's this screen coming from that code. And this portion is, we are defining a new string called page, and this information is stored in variable page, and then the page is here. We are concatenating or adding this information to this page, and the next line we are adding this to the page. So everything is concatenated to this page. So this is the top of the page, this is the text. This portion is printing the temperature. This is the text temperature, and that's the value. This is the degree Celsius, the degree symbol, and this is the C or Celsius. This is the humidity, the text, and then the humidity value with 2 decimal places and the percent. And then this is end of HTML page, and the page is coming here. We use server send 200 and then pass this page as type of text or HTML, which is displayed. Handle not found is if you type something unusual that is not available. Let's say if you type with a server with different requests, it will say not available. And this inside the setup, we initialize the DHT, and this is initializing the serial monitor. We initializing the Wi-Fi and then passing the SSID and password. And this is just waiting and connecting. That dot that you open the serial monitor is coming from this dot. And then if it is connected, then we will get the MAC address of the Wi-Fi and printing it on the screen, formatting it with colon, and then Then we print this on the serial monitor, and then we print the IP address so we can see it, and then we put the sample name. This is the multicast DNS, MDNS, so we can type Robojax DHT. It works with Android. This portion is sending the temperature on the root. If you don't type anything else, if you type something / something, you will not get it. If you type inline, it will print this text for you, / inline, and this is handling the not found, and this is initializing the server.begin, and this is just printing the text when you initially started. The loop will read server handle, and then MDNS update, multicast DNS is updated every time the loop goes, and then we read the temperature as Celsius, temperature as humidity as H, and temperature in Fahrenheit as F, and this is just printing it on the serial monitor. And this is T value holding the Celsius. If you want Fahrenheit, just change it to F and it will be Fahrenheit. And this is for humidity, and we have 300 millisecond delay, and the loop will continue, does the same thing all over again. Now let's generate the binary file. Make sure that the board is selected as generic ESP8266. Then go to Sketch, compile binary, and if it is generated, everything is successful. You should see the file here. And the file is generated successfully. Now let's copy this. I'm pressing Control copy. Go to ESP8266 firmware, right click and then paste it. Now let's copy this DHT1, right click, copy, and then paste. Now let's rename it DHT2, DHT02, and rename this binary file. This is bin file. This was the batch file, the bin file. Right click and then rename DHT02. So that's ready. Then we have to edit inside it because it has to refer to this. Right click and then more option, edit, and here it should be DHT02. File, save and close. Double click on this batch file, and at this stage this is very simple to connect it to ground and pull up, and you will see that this will continue. And if you still got problem, just disconnect the negative, wait for 5-10 seconds and connect it. You see this %, now it's going forward. Wait until it's 100%. It's done. Now I'm going to demonstrate it, so make sure that you're connected to the same Wi-Fi as the board. As you can see, I'm connected to Robojax. Make sure it is connected there. Now first remove this wire, make sure it is removed, and then connect this reset to the ground and disconnect it. Open the serial monitor, and as you can see, it says connected and it shows the temperature. If you don't see it, make sure that you have selected 115,200 here on the right bottom. And if I stop auto scroll and then go at the top of the code, you see that it says that we can go to this address or we can type this and go Robojax DHT. We go here, right click and then Control C. I'm coming to the browser and Control V, and enter. This is the temperature page that is coming. That is coming from this temperature sensor here. As you can see, it shows the temperature and the humidity. I'm now selecting this IP here, and then Control C, go to the browser, paste it, and press enter. Let me show you if I disconnect the wire. As I have a heat gun, let me just heat it up a little. And as you can see, the temperature increased. So this cannot go over this 55 or 60 degrees, I believe. Yes. So this is working. And let me show you if I disconnect the wire, what happens and what you see. I'm disconnecting it. Here, pay attention, it says none. So that is helping you and telling you that the wiring is not correct. And if I connect it back, you will see that this will get fixed after 3 seconds. And now I have typed this IP address 192.168.0.103. We can see it in here and on the screen, so multiple devices can measure and display it. Congratulations, you are able to display the temperature and humidity from DHT11 using this ESP8266 ESP01 module. If serial monitor is open and if you try to run any of these, you see it gets immediately error because the serial monitor is open. Make sure to close serial monitor before proceeding.